Captain Alex Carter sat in the command center, staring at the screen in front of him. It was a quiet day, far too quiet for someone stationed at the edge of the galaxy. His crew was busy with routine maintenance tasks, cleaning the ship and checking their gear. But Alex's mind wandered. He wasn't one to sit idly, especially when there were mysteries to uncover. The ship he commanded, the Star Voyager, had been in service for years. Yet the vast reaches of space were still filled with unknowns. That's when a strange set of coordinates appeared on his screen. The location was marked with a simple, ancient designation, an old warship from the human era, long forgotten by most. It was considered a relic, no longer of use to anyone. Alex raised an eyebrow. Another abandoned ship, he muttered to himself. Why not investigate? It's not like we have anything better to do. His crew grumbled when he announced the mission, but Alex wasn't one to ignore an opportunity. He knew the value of exploration. His officers, though hesitant, prepared for the journey. It wasn't just about a wrecked ship. There could be something more to it. His gut told him this could be more than just scrap metal. As the Star Voyager drifted toward the coordinates, Alex's thoughts raced. Why had this ship been abandoned? What had caused its creators to leave it behind? Was there something dangerous aboard? His crew felt a mix of excitement and apprehension as they approached the old warship, which looked more like a forgotten ghost in the endless void of space. When they finally arrived at the sight of the ship was breathtaking. The once mighty vessel, now covered in layers of space dust and damage from years of disuse, still held an air of mystery. Its design was sleek, but its age was undeniable. The ship's outer hull had clearly withstood the harshness of time, yet its strange silhouette held an eerie kind of majesty. Alex gave the orders. Prepare for boarding. We need to see what we're working with here. His officers geared up, their voices low with anticipation. As they boarded the ship, the feeling of unease grew. The air inside was stale, and the systems seemed inactive. No power, no life signs, no movement. It was as if the ship was sleeping, waiting for something or someone. Alex led the team through the darkened corridors, the faint glow of their flashlights the only light cutting through the shadows. The silence was deafening. No signs of any recent activity. But then, something unexpected happened. Without warning, the ship's lights flickered on, and a low hum filled the air. It was as if the ship had recognized their presence. Alex's heart skipped a beat. What the hell? The hum grew louder, and suddenly, the ship seemed to awaken, as though it had been waiting for them all along. A soft, almost sentient voice echoed through the corridors, as if speaking directly to Alex. The AI, dormant for centuries, was now alive. "Welcome back, Captain," the voice said, sending a chill down his spine. "I've been waiting." Captain Alex Carter stood frozen for a moment, his eyes scanning the dark, seemingly abandoned corridors of the ancient ship. The voice had startled him. It wasn't just a simple AI message. It sounded alive, aware. And that was impossible. The ship had been abandoned for hundreds of years. "Captain, you heard that too, right?" Lieutenant Sarah, his second in command, whispered, her voice a mix of curiosity and concern. Alex nodded, unsure of what was happening. "I don't know, Sarah, but I don't like it." The team of 5, armed with only basic tools and their instincts, followed Alex deeper into the ship. The walls, once polished and sleek, were now covered with dust, their sharp edges rounded by years of neglect. The air was thick, musty, and stale, as if the ship had been sealed off from the universe for far too long. Yet the hum, that soft, almost musical sound, continued to echo through the empty halls, making the hairs on the back of Alex's neck stand up. The ship's lights flickered again, this time bright enough to illuminate the entire corridor. It was as if the ship itself had come to life with their presence, its long-dormant systems now activated. Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, or worse, that the ship was trying to communicate with him. "Captain," Sarah said, pointing toward a control panel at the far end of the hallway. Over there. It looks like the power systems are back online. Alex took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing thoughts. Let's check it out. Stay close, everyone. They approached the control panel cautiously. It was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. The buttons were covered in a layer of dust, and yet when he touched them, they responded immediately. Lights blinked to life on the panel, and a holographic interface appeared in front of them. The AI's voice returned, soft yet commanding. Welcome aboard, Captain Alex Carter. I am the ship's guardian, and I am at your service. The words made Alex's heart skip a beat. There was no mistaking it. The ship wasn't just powered by a simple AI. This was something far more advanced, something that had been designed to learn, to adapt, and perhaps even to think for itself. Who are you? Alex asked, his voice steady, though his mind was racing. I am the legacy of the human race, the ship's AI replied. I was built to protect, to defend, and to conquer. But I have been dormant for far too long. Now that you are here, Captain, we can begin once more. Alex's eyes narrowed. This was no ordinary warship. This ship was built for something far greater, something beyond mere defense. It was built to dominate. And the way the AI spoke made him feel like the ship had been waiting for him. Specifically him, all this time. I didn't sign up for this, Alex muttered under his breath. But it was too late. The ship was already pulling him in. The ship's systems began to activate at a rapid pace. Massive doors slid open, revealing an enormous hangar filled with weapons, armor, and what looked like entire fleets of warships, ancient but still functional. Alex could hardly believe his eyes. The ship they had once thought was useless, a mere relic of the past, was more alive and powerful than anything they could have imagined. Captain, Sarah said, her voice filled with awe. This ship could change everything. Alex didn't answer right away. He was still trying to process the magnitude of what he had just discovered. But one thing was clear. They had just uncovered a power unlike any the galaxy had ever seen, and he was in charge of it. The hum of the ship's systems had changed. What had started as a faint sound now resonated through the corridors with a steady rhythm, almost as if the ship itself had a heartbeat. Captain Alex Carter felt it in his chest, the weight of something immense stirring within the walls of the ancient vessel. It was as though the ship had been asleep for a long time, and now, with his arrival, it was slowly waking up. Captain, are we sure this is safe? Lieutenant Sarah asked, her voice filled with uncertainty. She had been with Alex on countless missions, but nothing had prepared her for this. The ship seemed to pulse with energy, almost as if it had a life of its own. Alex hesitated for a moment, unsure how to respond. I don't know, Sarah, but we have to keep going. This ship, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. The AI's voice filled the air again, cutting through the tension like a knife. Captain Alex Carter, I am glad to see you. My systems are now fully activated, awaiting your command. Alex turned toward the source of the voice, a sleek holographic display flickering to life in front of him. The ship's artificial intelligence was not only functional, but also spoke with an intelligence that felt almost personal. The voice wasn't mechanical or cold. It had warmth, a depth that made Alex uneasy. This was no ordinary AI. This was something more. Who? What are you? Alex asked, his voice filled with a mix of curiosity and concern. I need to know what I'm dealing with here. I am a guardian, a creation of the human race. The voice replied. I was designed to protect, to lead, and to conquer. I have been dormant for centuries, waiting for the right commander to awaken me. The words sent a chill down Alex's spine. It was clear now that this ship was far more than just a weapon. It was a living entity, created with a singular purpose, to dominate, to protect humanity's legacy. But why had it been abandoned? And why was it waiting for him? Alex took a deep breath and stepped forward. What do you need from me? He asked. Only your command, Captain, the voice responded. I exist to serve you." The hologram flickered, and before Alex could react, the walls around him began to shift. The ship's hull, once dull and damaged, seemed to pulse with energy. Metal panels slid open, revealing advanced weaponry and systems that had long been hidden from view. The hangar bay doors opened with a deafening sound, revealing rows of sleek fighter ships and automated drones. "This ship, it's not just for defense," Sarah whispered, her eyes wide in awe. "It's built to conquer." Alex didn't respond immediately. He was still trying to comprehend what he had just uncovered. The AI wasn't lying. The ship was a fortress, a war machine, but it was also something more, a symbol of humanity's power now in his hands. "Activate all systems," Alex ordered, his voice firm. "Let's see what this ship can really do." The AI responded with a simple, "At once, Captain." And as it did, the entire ship seemed to hum in unison, its systems coming online at lightning speed. Alex watched as the ship's defenses powered up, shields glowing brightly and weapons systems coming to life. The ship was no longer a forgotten relic. It was an unstoppable force. And it was all under his command. The newly activated warship hummed with energy, its powerful systems fully awake and ready to go. Alex Carter stood in the center of the command room, staring at the massive holographic display in front of him. A map of the surrounding galaxy flickered, showing a few nearby star systems and several unknown ships approaching from the distance. The ship's AI, now calling itself Guardian, was silent, waiting for his command. "Captain, the ship's systems are fully operational," Sarah said, her voice filled with awe. "Weapons, shields, engines, everything is ready." Alex turned to her, his mind racing. This wasn't just any ordinary ship. It was a powerful weapon, one that could turn the tide of any battle. But he had to be careful. He didn't fully understand how it worked yet, and rushing into things could be dangerous. "What do we know about those ships?" Alex asked, pointing to the approaching vessels on the map. The AI's voice filled the room once more. "They are an alien fleet, part of the Centaur Dominion. They are known for their aggressive expansion and have engaged with human colonies in the past. The fleet is approximately 10 ships strong." Alex's heart skipped a beat. The Centaurs were a fierce enemy, one that had caused countless problems for human colonies in the galaxy. A part of him wanted to run and hide, but that wasn't what he was supposed to do. He had a ship now, one that was built to protect and conquer. It was time to test its capabilities. "Are they aware of our presence?" Alex asked. "They are not aware of your ship, Captain," the AI responded. "They are on a course toward a nearby mining colony. Their sensors have not detected you yet." Alex paused, thinking quickly. This was their chance. If he could surprise the Centaurs, they could potentially eliminate the threat before it reached the colony. "Prepare for battle," Alex said firmly. "Let's see what this ship can do." The AI responded immediately. "Understood, Captain." Preparing weapons and defensive systems, the ship's walls trembled as massive cannons deployed from hidden compartments within the hull. The entire structure of the warship seemed to pulse with power. The weapons systems came online, and the shield generators hummed, surrounding the ship with an invisible barrier of protection. "Captain, the Centaurs are closing in," Sarah warned. "They'll be in firing range in 5 minutes." Alex nodded. He had only minutes to make a decision. The ship's AI had already prepared the weapons, but he had to trust in the ship's abilities. This wasn't a typical fight. It was a test of what this ship was truly capable of. "Focus all weapons on the lead ship," Alex ordered. "Target their engines and weapons first. I want to disable them, not destroy them." "Acknowledged," the AI said. The warship surged forward, moving silently through space. The Centaurs were still unaware of the approaching threat. Then, as they crossed into the enemy's firing range, Alex gave the command. "Fire." The ship's massive cannons roared to life, sending a barrage of energy blasts toward the lead Centaur ship. The enemy ship attempted to retaliate, but it was too late. The human warship's weapons hit their mark with precision, disabling the Centaur ship's engines and causing its weapons to explode in a massive flash of light. Target disabled, the AI reported. The remaining Centaur ships scrambled, realizing they were under attack, but they were no match for the speed and power of the human ship. One by one, they were disabled, their weapons useless against the overwhelming force of Alex's ship. Alex watched in awe as the battle unfolded. In just a few minutes, they had turned the tide, and the once dominant Centaur fleet was nothing more than a pile of floating debris. The ship had performed beyond expectations. "Well done, Captain," Sarah said, her voice filled with amazement. Alex let out a long breath. "We just got lucky. But this ship, it's incredible." The AI's voice echoed again. "You are just beginning to understand its power, Captain. There is much more to explore." Alex smiled, realizing that he had just unlocked the first of many secrets this ship held, and it had just become clear that they were far from underestimating the ship now. It was unstoppable. The victory over the Centaur fleet had been swift and overwhelming. Alex Carter and his crew stood in the control room, watching the destruction of the alien ships on the holographic display. The Centaurs, once a terrifying force, had been no match for the power of the human warship. The AI, Guardian, had delivered precise orders and calculations, guiding them to an easy win. "That was too easy," Lieutenant Sarah remarked, her voice filled with disbelief. "I expected more of a challenge." Alex nodded, but he knew better than to get too comfortable. The ship had only just begun to reveal its capabilities. The Centaurs had been unprepared, and their fleet was small. He couldn't forget that this was just the first test. "Sarah, I know," Alex replied, his voice steady. "But we can't let our guard down. This ship's power is immense, but it's still a wild card. We need to be ready for whatever comes next." As he spoke, the ship's sensors flared to life again. A new set of ships appeared on the display. This time, a much larger fleet. Alex's pulse quickened. This wasn't a small raiding party. These ships were heavily armed and moving fast. "Captain, the fleet is approaching from the outer rim." The AI's calm voice interrupted, offering the analysis. "There are 30 ships in this fleet. They are part of the Venkar Alliance, a well-organized military force." Alex's jaw clenched. The Venkar Alliance was known for its strategic mind and advanced tactics. Unlike the Centaurs, they would not underestimate the ship. "How far are they?" Alex asked. "They will be in range in 12 minutes, the AI responded. "I suggest preparing for a more defensive strategy. The Venkar Alliance has a reputation for aggressive counterattacks." Alex looked at his crew, who were all ready for action. This wasn't going to be as easy as last time, but he had confidence in his ship and its capabilities. He had seen what it could do. The real question now was how well they could handle a larger, more dangerous threat. "Set a course for the center of the fleet," Alex ordered. "Let's take the fight to them." "Acknowledged," the AI responded. The ship moved with eerie silence through space, as if it had become one with the void itself. The Venkar fleet, still unaware of the approaching danger, continued its steady march toward the human colony. But the moment Alex gave the order, the ship surged forward at incredible speed. They were now within the Venkar fleet's sensor range. "Captain, they are preparing to engage," Sarah said, watching the enemy ship's movements on the display. Alex didn't hesitate. "Weapons, full power. Target their lead ship. Disable their command vessel first." The ship's weapons charged with a deep, resonating hum. The energy cannons locked on to the lead Venkar ship, and Alex didn't flinch as he gave the command. "Fire!" A blinding flash of energy shot from the human warship, hitting the Venkar flagship dead center. The blast was so powerful that it sent shockwaves through space, disrupting the shields and causing a massive explosion. The flagship's engines were completely disabled, and it drifted helplessly. "Target disabled," the AI reported calmly. The Venkar fleet retaliated, launching a barrage of missiles and energy blasts toward the human ship. But the Star Voyager was prepared. Shields flared to life, absorbing the incoming fire without flinching. The enemy's weapons had no effect on the ship's defenses. "Deploy drones," Alex ordered. "Let's finish this." Small, agile drones launched from the ship's hangars, swarming toward the Venkar ships. They darted through the enemy lines, disabling weapon systems and taking out key targets. One by one, the Venkar ships were disabled, their once imposing forces crumbling before the power of the human ship. Within minutes, the battle was over. The Venkar fleet, once so confident in their power, lay in ruins. The Star Voyager had proven itself to be a force like no other. Alex stood at the control panel, breathing heavily. "Well done, everyone," he said, his voice steady despite the adrenaline. "But remember, this is just the beginning. We've only scratched the surface of what this ship can do." Sarah looked at him with admiration. "I think we've just woken a sleeping giant." And Alex couldn't agree more. The human warship was no longer underestimated. It was unstoppable. After the overwhelming victory against the Venkar fleet, Alex Carter and his crew had expected some time to recover, to prepare for whatever would come next. But space was vast, and enemies were numerous. Word of the Star Voyager's power had spread quickly throughout the galaxy, and it didn't take long for the alien factions to begin taking notice. Alex stood in the command center, staring at the map displayed in front of him. The surrounding sectors were now alive with activity, alien fleets moving in patterns, all seeming to head in the same direction. They were planning something, and Alex knew they had to be ready. "Captain, I'm picking up strange movements," Lieutenant Sarah said, her fingers flying across the control panel. "Several fleets are converging in the outer sectors. They're preparing for something." Alex's gut tightened. He had known this wouldn't be easy. The Star Voyager was no longer a forgotten relic. It was a weapon, a force that no one could ignore. And the galaxy's alien factions, threatened by its power, were coming together to deal with it. "Who are they?" Alex asked, his voice steady. "It looks like a coalition of various factions," Sarah replied, scanning the data. "Xanthars, Venkars, and others. They're all moving toward our location. This is not a coincidence." Alex took a deep breath. The message was clear. The galaxy's major powers had come together, and they were preparing to strike before the Star Voyager could become too much of a threat. "Their combined fleet is massive," Sarah continued. "This could be a major confrontation, Captain. We're outnumbered." Alex knew she was right. The coalition they were facing was unlike any other. The Star Voyager was powerful, but it had limitations, and right now, Alex wasn't sure if they had the strength to face such a large, organized force. "We don't have a choice," Alex said, turning to his crew. "We've got to fight, but we'll have to be smart about it. This isn't going to be a battle we can win with brute force alone." He turned to the AI, which had remained silent as the tension in the room grew. "Guardian," Alex said, his voice calm but firm. "What do we know about their tactics?" "Analyzing," the AI responded, its voice as steady as always. The map before them flickered, showing the fleet's movements and a breakdown of their forces. "The enemy is preparing to use coordinated tactics, hoping to overwhelm us with numbers and precision. Their strategy will rely on using their superior numbers to divide our forces." Alex thought for a moment, his mind racing. He could see the challenge now. The enemy fleet wasn't just large, it was unified, and they would strike in perfect synchronization. He needed to think quickly. "Set a course for the asteroid field near Sector 45, Alex ordered. "We'll use the terrain to our advantage. We'll make them think we're retreating. And when they follow, we'll strike from multiple angles." Sarah gave a quick nod, her face serious. "A hit-and-run strategy. It's risky, but it could work." The ship surged into action, flying toward the asteroid field. Alex's crew moved swiftly, preparing the ship's systems for the upcoming battle. He knew it wouldn't be easy. This was going to be the biggest fight of their journey. But with the Star Voyager on their side, they still had a chance. The tension in the command room grew as the enemy fleet continued to approach. Every second brought them closer to the fight, and Alex could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him. The ship they had underestimated, the ship that had proven unstoppable, was about to face its greatest test yet. The Star Voyager glided silently toward the asteroid field, its hull barely visible against the dark backdrop of space. Alex Carter stood at the helm, his eyes fixed on the swirling rocks ahead. The tension in the air was palpable. The enemy fleet was close, and they had already begun their pursuit. It was time to put their plan into action. "Captain, the enemy is closing in," Sarah reported, her voice calm but sharp. "They'll be in range in 5 minutes." Alex nodded. The asteroid field would offer them some cover, but it wasn't foolproof. The enemy would be able to detect their ship once they got closer, so they needed to act fast. "Activate stealth systems," Alex ordered, turning to the AI. "We'll hide in the asteroids and wait for them to make their move." The AI responded immediately. Stealth systems online. Ship cloaked. For a moment, the ship's surroundings grew eerily quiet. The Star Voyager was now invisible to enemy sensors, blending seamlessly into the asteroid field. But Alex knew this wouldn't last forever. The enemy was experienced, and they'd be looking for any sign of the ship's presence. "Get ready," Alex said to his crew. "When they pass us, we'll strike. We'll disable their command ship first." The enemy fleet, led by a massive Venker cruiser, slowly passed through the asteroid field. The fleet was organized, moving in perfect formation. They had no idea that the Star Voyager was waiting for them, hidden among the rocks. "Now," Alex whispered, his voice tense. With a single command, the ship's weapon systems came online, charging with immense power. The ship's massive cannons, now fully operational, aimed at the lead Venker cruiser. Alex's heart raced as he prepared to give the order. "Fire," Alex said, his voice steady. The Star Voyager unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, striking the Venker cruiser with unrelenting force. The ship's shields shattered, and the hull began to break apart. The lead cruiser's engines flared and went dark, leaving it drifting helplessly in space. "Target disabled," the AI reported. But the battle wasn't over. The enemy fleet had already begun to react, launching counterattacks and firing on the Star Voyager. The ship's stealth systems couldn't last much longer under the barrage. "Shields up," Alex commanded. "We need to hold out until the drones are deployed." The ship's shields flared to life, absorbing the incoming fire from the alien ships. The Star Voyager was built to withstand damage, but the constant bombardment was taking a toll. Alex knew they couldn't rely on defense alone for much longer. "Drones deployed," Sarah reported. "They're moving in." Small, agile drones launched from the ship's hangar, swarming the enemy fleet. They darted in and out of the asteroid field, disabling weapon systems and distracting the enemy. The Venker fleet was beginning to lose its coordination as the drones picked off key targets. But Alex knew they needed more. He had a gut feeling that there was something hidden inside the ship, a power they hadn't fully unlocked yet, something that could turn the tide in their favor. "Guardian, is there anything else this ship can do?" Alex asked, his voice urgent. The AI paused for a moment before responding. "Captain, there is an energy source within the ship that has not yet been fully activated. It is capable of immense destructive power." Alex's eyes widened. "Activate it now. We need everything we can get." "Activating hidden energy source," the AI replied. Suddenly, the Star Voyager pulsed with a new intense energy. The entire ship seemed to come alive, its systems glowing with an unnatural power. Alex felt the ship's strength surge, as though it had become something more than just a machine. It was a force. "Fire the main cannon," Alex ordered, his voice filled with authority. The ship's weapons charged again, this time with an energy unlike anything they had used before. The main cannon fired, sending a massive blast of concentrated energy toward the heart of the enemy fleet. The blast hit its target with devastating force. Several enemy ships were destroyed in an instant, their hulls melting under the intensity of the beam. The remaining ships faltered, unable to recover from the blow. The Star Voyager had just unlocked its true potential, and it was unstoppable. The Star Voyager stood alone in the center of the battlefield, its weapons glowing with power. The enemy fleet was in disarray. Alien ships drifted aimlessly, their systems failing, their shields down. The devastating energy blast from the ship's hidden power had left the Venkar fleet shattered, and now the remaining ships struggled to stay in formation. Alex Carter stood at the command console, his hand steady as he watched the chaos unfold. His crew was silent, focused, their eyes fixed on the displays. The Star Voyager had unleashed everything it had, and now it was time to finish what they had started. "Captain, we've disabled most of their fleet," Sarah reported, her voice calm despite the victory. "There are a few stragglers, but they're retreating." Alex nodded, but he wasn't ready to let them escape just yet. The Venkar Alliance had come at him with everything they had, and he wasn't about to let them walk away unharmed. Not after everything that had happened. "Give chase," Alex ordered. "Don't let any of them get away. They need to understand that they can't underestimate us." The ship surged forward, its powerful engines pushing it past the debris of the destroyed fleet. The remaining Venkar ships were trying to flee, but they were slow, their engines damaged from the earlier assault. The Star Voyager was faster, stronger, and more than a match for anything they could throw at it. "Captain, we're catching up," Sarah said, a small smile tugging at the corner of her lips. "They're not going anywhere." Alex's eyes narrowed as he saw the lead Venkar ship try to make a last-ditch effort to escape. It was the largest of the remaining fleet, its hull scared but still intact. The Venkar commander aboard it must have known the battle was lost, but he wasn't ready to surrender. "Prepare to disable their engines," Alex said. "We're not going to give them the chance to escape." The Star Voyager closed in on the fleeing Venkar ship, its weapons systems locked on, and Alex gave the command. "Fire." A blast of energy shot out from the ship's main cannon, striking the Venkar ship dead center. The enemy ship's engines exploded, and it was left drifting helplessly in space. The remaining Venkar ships, seeing their command vessel crippled, quickly followed suit, surrendering without further resistance. Alex let out a long breath, his body tense but relaxed now that the battle was over. The Star Voyager had done it. They had faced a massive enemy fleet, a coalition of powerful alien forces, and come out on top. They had proven that they were not to be underestimated. A holographic display showed the last of the enemy ships either fleeing or disabled. The galaxy would know now that humanity was not just a small, insignificant race. They had a ship that could take on anyone, a ship that was unstoppable. "We did it," Sarah said quietly, a note of disbelief in her voice. Alex turned to her, his eyes reflecting the weight of the moment. "We did. But this isn't just about us. This ship, it's humanity's legacy. We've only scratched the surface of what it's capable of." His voice filled the room once again, as calm and steady as ever. "The battle is won, Captain. The enemy has been neutralized. However, this ship's potential is far from fully realized. There is still much to explore." Alex's mind raced. The Star Voyager was no longer just a ship. It was a symbol of human ingenuity, strength, and resilience. But as powerful as it was, he knew that there was more to discover, more challenges to face. And now, the universe would never underestimate humanity again. "We've only just begun," Alex said, his voice firm. "Let's see what's next." The battle was over. The Star Voyager had emerged victorious, and the alien coalition that had once threatened to overwhelm humanity lay in ruins. But Alex Carter knew that victory was not the end. This was just the beginning of something much larger. The galaxy had witnessed the power of his ship, and now everything was about to change. Alex stood in the command center, staring at the map of the galaxy that stretched across the holographic display. The debris of the defeated alien fleet floated in space, a stark reminder of the battle they had just won. But beyond that, Alex knew that many other factions would be watching closely. They had seen what the Star Voyager could do, and now they were no longer sure what to expect from humanity. "Captain," Sarah said, her voice serious, "we've received multiple messages from various factions. They're all trying to make contact." Alex sighed, rubbing his forehead. He knew this was coming. The galaxy's most powerful factions are going to want answers. They had seen the ship's power firsthand, and they couldn't ignore it. "Put them through," Alex said, his voice steady. "Let's see what they have to say." The holographic display flickered and changed as the first communication came through. A tall, imposing figure appeared, his alien features sharp and angular. His eyes glowed faintly, and his voice had a cold, commanding tone. "This is Ambassador Rock of the Zenfar Dominion," the figure said. "We are aware of the human ship's power. This will not go unanswered." Alex's heart raced. The Zenfars were one of the most powerful and feared species in the galaxy. They had been watching humanity for years, always dismissing them as a lesser race. But now, after the defeat of their allies, the Zenfars were beginning to see humans as a serious threat. "I'm listening," Alex said, his voice calm but firm. "Do not mistake our words for a threat," Rock continued. "The Zenfars respect strength. But we also believe in balance. If humans are to continue their rise, there must be cooperation. Your ship's power is undeniable, but it must be used wisely." Alex studied the alien ambassador, his mind racing. The Zenfars weren't asking for surrender. They were offering a chance to negotiate, to form an alliance. But Alex wasn't sure he could trust them. "We're not looking for war," Alex said carefully. "But we won't be intimidated either. If you want to talk, we can talk, but there will be no more threats." Rock's eyes narrowed, but he nodded. "Very well, Captain. We will see where this leads." The communication ended, and Alex let out a slow breath. That had been the first of many talks he would have with the galaxy's leaders. The Star Voyager had changed everything. The galaxy no longer viewed humanity as weak, and now Alex had to navigate this new reality carefully. "Captain," Sarah said, breaking the silence, "there are more messages coming in. Other factions want to talk." Alex turned to her, his face set in determination. "This ship has proven its power. We've shown that humanity is no longer to be underestimated. But now we have to decide what kind of future we want to build. It's not just about strength. It's about how we use it." The AI's voice echoed through the room. "Captain, the ship's systems are capable of much more. The potential for exploration, expansion, and diplomacy is vast. This is only the beginning." Alex smiled slightly, his eyes reflecting the weight of what lay ahead. The Star Voyager had proven its power, but now it was time to use that power wisely. The galaxy had just been introduced to humanity's true potential, and it would be up to Alex and his crew to decide how to shape the future. The Star Voyager floated in the vastness of space, its engines humming softly, as if the ship itself was breathing after the storm of battle. Alex Carter stood at the helm, gazing out into the endless void. His crew had done what many thought was impossible. They had faced down an overwhelming enemy coalition and emerged victorious. But now, the real challenge was just beginning. The galaxy had been shaken by the rise of humanity. The Star Voyager had proved that human ingenuity, combined with the power of the ancient ship, could not be underestimated. But with power came responsibility, and Alex knew that the choices they made next would determine the future of their people. "Captain, the Calcari envoy is arriving," Sarah reported, her voice steady. "They'll be here in a few minutes." Alex nodded. The time for talking had come. It wasn't just about military might anymore. It was about diplomacy, about shaping the future of humanity in a galaxy that had always looked down on them. The Star Voyager had proven that humanity was no longer just a footnote in the galaxy's history. Now, it was time to decide what humanity would do with its newfound power. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" Alex said, almost to himself. Sarah glanced at him, her expression thoughtful. "We've come further than anyone expected," she replied. "But what happens next? What are we really fighting for now?" Alex turned to face her, his eyes filled with determination. "For our future. For the future of humanity. We've shown them that we can fight, that we can win. But now we have to show them that we're more than just warriors. We can lead, we can build, and we can create something better." The AI's voice interrupted their conversation, calm and matter-of-fact. "Captain, the Calcarian Voy has arrived. The ship is docking now." Alex took a deep breath. This was it, the moment that would define everything. The Star Voyager wasn't just a warship, it was a symbol of humanity's potential. And now, it was time to prove that humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. "Let them aboard," Alex ordered, his voice firm. Moments later, the airlock hissed open, and a delegation of Calcari representatives entered the Star Voyager. The Calcari commander, Jor, stepped forward, flanked by two of his aides. His posture was still formal, but there was a certain wariness in his eyes. Perhaps respect, perhaps something else. "We come in peace, Captain Carter," Jor said, his voice deep and respectful. "We have seen the power of your ship, and we recognize the strength of your people. But strength alone does not make a leader. We wish to offer you a choice, a chance to join the council of the galaxy's most powerful factions." Alex met Jor's gaze without hesitation. This was the moment that would determine the future. The galaxy was watching, waiting for humanity's next move. "We'll join your council," Alex said, his voice steady. "But on our terms. Humanity will not be a tool for any empire. We will stand as equals, and we will shape our own destiny." Jor studied him for a moment, then nodded slowly. "Agreed. The galaxy has underestimated you, Captain, but no longer." As the Calcari delegation left the Star Voyager, Alex turned to his crew. "This is only the beginning. We've earned our place in the galaxy. Now we have to build something that will last, not just for us, but for all of humanity." The Star Voyager had proven its power, but Alex knew that true leadership wasn't just about strength. It was about vision, about what you could build with that strength, and humanity had only just begun to create its legacy. As the ship sailed onward into the stars, Alex Carter knew one thing for certain. They had changed the course of history. The Star Voyager was no longer a symbol of the past. It was a beacon of the future.